exist. Fight for your right to exist.
What's up, everybody? It's Keefe from Ghost Cult. I'm here with the one and only Otep, Shamaya from Otep. Otep, how are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you.
Thank you. Good to see you again. Welcome back to New York. Happy Pride Month, weekend. I know you've been on the road. Hope you got to enjoy some of the festivities.
We were in DC for DC Pride.
Amazing. Always amazing.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Great. And a good place to actually just kick it off. Again, just current events being what they are, and you know, New York is, of course, the birthplace of the movement, and it's great to see you here. And of course, so important at these times to have your message hitting people in this crazy, crazy time.
It is. It is insane, indeed.
I know you promised a more sort of expansive show this time out, this tour, specifically to these current events and issues. Do you want to talk about that a little? Or?
Sure. We curated the song specifically for the resistance. We have, to those who are surprised that I'm a political band, they haven't been paying attention for the last 15 years, the last 7 albums. We have a lot of political songs, but also songs that I thought were important to play just because of all the things, all the hideous things that Trump represents. So, for example, we have a song called Menacide from our first record, which is it's an attack on rape culture, and I think that he's, you know, made it and almost normalized it in some ways, in the way that he thinks of himself as a star, and then he can do anything he wants to a woman because he's famous or whatever. Like, you're not that famous, dude, you know, like, get up, give me a break. But we curated the songs so that they made sense for this particular tour, and the fans' reaction has been really marvelous. Just great to see it happen this fast, this soon. It took, when I was writing Warhead, you know, which was against George W. Bush, it took about 4 years for people to really embrace the truth about that president and about you know, his wrongdoing and inadequacies. It's taken about 100 days for people to embrace that about Trump. So I'm pretty proud of my country right now for standing up and fighting back.
Amazing. I want to see if I correctly attribute this quote to you. You said after the first 100 days of Trump, I kind of miss Bush. And you believe you said that?
I would take George W. Bush back.
That's insane, absolutely. But so...
I think most people would. This isn't about liberal or conservative or Democrat versus Republican anymore. It's about Americans versus traitors, period. And as much as I dislike George W. Bush, at least he had governing experience. He knew how the government worked. He knew how a bill became a law. He wasn't the sharpest tool in the shed, but at least he was a tool, so that made him somewhat useful. Trump's none of those things. He's not useful, aside from maybe inspiring people to remember their place in this country and why democracy is so important. And it's just an idea, you know. And if you don't work this idea, if you don't live this idea, if you don't preserve this idea, then it can go away, and it can go away really fast. And we're seeing them try to do that. They're trying to take away voters' rights. First Amendment rights. We're seeing them try that, and it's only been, like I said, less than 200 days.
Crazy. But it's great to have you and your voice out there, and that's always been the thing I think about your entire career. You mentioned 15 years, and I think a lot about anniversaries. It's 15 years next week since Sevastra, and I know it's July will be 10 years since the Ascension, so we have the history of the band coming to the fore. Do you find it hard to kind of, you know, obviously there's a purpose to this tour, but do you find it hard sometimes to put the set list together?
You know, depending on the tour itself, we do our best to find the songs that we know fans like and are fun to play live, and then we'll look at different tours and say which songs haven't we played in a while, or which songs haven't we played ever, and that's how, and we'll build a set list from there.
Awesome. And again, when you mentioned
dance party outside,
dance club, Otep interview, metal show tonight, awesome.
Yeah.
Nothing more punk rock.
Yes.
But I was going to talk a little bit more about the tour itself and the theatricality and and storytelling that you always bring to your shows, every show, but specifically more and more, especially with this tour. Is there anything special or unique that we haven't seen yet? Maybe that you brought out for this new album and this new songs?
I think there's definitely, we do poetry and political speeches between songs, and I think we're doing a few different things this time around, and I think, you gotta come see the show, see it.
Right. You can't watch this on YouTube, people. You need to come out to shows, see bands live.
That's right.
I think you've always particularly been great live, and nothing slacking at all. So I guess moving that along, I did want to, like I said, I wanted to mention sort of it is kind of feels to me like you've had quite a bit of a run here that's been amazing and growing all the time. And I'm always thinking about history. So again, sort of 15 years. Do you ever reflect back? It's been kind of quite a journey from the very early days to now.
Yeah, I do. I look back at we were I had no grand ideas about that I'd ever end up here in this position. I was just an artist trying to write music, and we were an unsigned band in California trying to make it on the Sunset Strip just like every other band, and but we just got signed. We got signed after 4 shows, no demo, and to Capitol Records, and I learned as quick as I could. I was a kid. I didn't know anything about music, and so I tried my best not to make a lot of mistakes. But so I just kind of followed my instincts. Luckily, I also had Sharon Osbourne as a mentor, and she kind of took me under her wing, and I tried to follow her leadership skills and see how because she was widely respected in the music industry, and I wanted to see how she was able to maintain being a boss and still garner the kind of respect she gets, because a lot of times for women it's really difficult to be considered seriously or taken seriously when you're in a position of power or successful, because that's threatening to some people. And so I really looked to her to try to see how she did it, and I was really grateful for all her help and her advocacy early on.
That's amazing. We always talk about the multifaceted things that cut across your career: poetry, music, art, writing, acting. I found out recently that you, in addition to your, fitness and training, you actually have been fighting, competitive fighting, and I wanted to ask, I know you had some issues in the past with very aggressive people, fans and non, alike. Did you feel like this was a step you needed to take just for self-preservation, or something you were interested in?
Oh no, I was always, I started fighting before I started writing songs, and I don't normally compete anymore. Mostly it's like underground fight clubs and things like that. But I think that it's important for everybody to know how to handle themselves, and just even if you never actually get into a physical altercation, it's just good for your mind and stress and all that. I think it's really important. So I enjoy it a lot, and it's just part of my training now.
Awesome. Well, the best fist is one you don't always have to use, but you gotta be ready, right?
That's right.
Otep, Shamaya of Otep, thank you so much for your time. Generation Doom is still out now. Go get it, everybody. And welcome back to New York, and we look forward to the show tonight.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.